This episode is brought to you by Chefs Making Waves. Destination, New England. A 4-day food, wine, and spirits festival at sea. Presented by Sixthman, EBG, and A21. Sailing October 24th to 28th, 2025, from Boston to Portland, Maine, and St. John, New Brunswick, this unforgettable voyage brings fall flavors, picturesque ports, and world-class culinary experiences to the high seas with celebrity chefs, including Alex Gurnishelli, Alton Brown, Eric Ajapong, and Andrew Zimmern, for ship-exclusive curated dinners, cooking demonstrations, culinary conversations, and more. Plus, a premium beverage package is included. Reserve your cabin now at boston.chefsmakingwaves.com and taste the best of New England at sea.
You're listening to Heritage Radio Network.
Heritage Radio Network is supported by Visit Ithaca, where great minds meet the great outdoors. Check them out at visitithaca.com. Ithaca is known for outstanding dining. And here's a word from one of those great local businesses.
My name is Kukwa Jibodi Yomepe, and the name of the restaurant is Asempe Kitchen. I started out at the farmer's market, and the reception we received was so overwhelming that I thought it made sense to stay in the area. My goal so far has been to create some space for everybody who feels disenfranchised or feels like they're not represented to come together and have a place to be. So we have been working really hard to be more than just a restaurant. So like a place to just rest, get some really good food, and maybe some good conversation. We have community tables, and I kept the communal tables because of the way I feel about building community. The food is mostly vegetarian. It's from West Africa, mostly from Ghana. I'm originally from Ghana, West Africa. I've been in the US about 30 years. On Sundays, we do a brunch, and during brunch, we offer meat as an option to folks who eat meat. I'm very much a purist when it comes to the food. I like to offer people the authentic, stuff.
To plan your next trip or to find out more information, go to visitithaca.com.
Audible's romance collection has something to satisfy every side of you. When it comes to what kind of romance you're into, you don't have to choose just one. Fancy a dalliance with a duke, or maybe a steamy billionaire. You could find a book boyfriend in the city and another one tearing it up on the hockey field. And if nothing on this earth satisfies, you can always find love in another realm. Discover modern rom-coms from authors like Lily Chu and Ali Hazelwood, the latest Romantasy series from Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros, plus Regency favorites like Bridgerton and Outlander. And of course, all the really steamy stuff. Your first great love story is free when you sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery.
I'm Peter Reinhardt, and welcome to Pizza Quest. We always look forward to our sessions with the wise men and women of the pizza community, the ones I refer to as the Pizza Yodis. Of course, John Arena is our resident Yoda, and we're thrilled to be joined today by the newest member of the Yodi pantheon, Maestro Leo Spizzirri, the education director of Pizza University, an omnipresent Instagram and YouTube presence, and teacher to the teachers. John Arena joins us from Las Vegas, home base of his Metro Pizza empire, where he's getting ready to leave for Naples for a major event to celebrate the top 50 pizza makers in the world. So we've got a lot to talk about, but first, welcome back to both of you. And Leo, congrats for officially joining the ranks of our Yodis, though our title is far less prestigious than a title you already bear called Maestro, which sounds like it might mean Maestro of Pizza. What does that honorific mean, and how did you get it? Who bestowed it upon you, and how many such Maestros actually are there?
I'll say it like this. I came up at a time when it was a prestigious thing to have the title, and now being in a day and age that everybody seems to be calling themselves a maestro. I'm actually kind of walking away from the title because while yes, in Italy and things were referred that way, sitting here in the presence of John Arena specifically to say, man, I came up as a pizza maker, not a pizza chef, not a maestro, not a pizzaiolo. I came up as a kid in Chicago making pizzas with a white button-down utility shirt. And I don't know how this whole thing ever went to chef coats and all this other crazy nonsense, but I will say that the thing that was great about it was guys like Gemignani, myself. I mean, there's a handful of people that spent a lot of time in Italy to really learn the differences of what we were doing here in America and the professionalism that went behind that kind of title in Italy. And then to be able to bring that back, to me, that's where more of this backstory is about. And I think that again, it was at a time when everything needed to be elevated. I came out of the same program. Actually, Tony Gemignani was the one to actually sponsor me to even get into the program in Italy, where I went back and forth. I was in and out of Veneto, which you think that the pizza was all happening in Napoli, but it was actually in northern Italy that the school was founded. And I went back and forth a lot over a course of almost 15 years to get individual certifications, not just saying I took a 3 to 5 day class and got a
Yeah.
certificate. I mean, it took years of going back and validations and all that. And then on top of everything else, the thing that was probably most honored for me was being part of the AVPN and even the APN, both of those Neapolitan associations and groups that specifically, at a time when, yes, there's politics and everything else nonsense that's around it, but at a time when it was physically more about the pizza than anything it ever had to do about making a buck. And to me, to be considered as an ambassador, and things where we're talking about how do we continue to let that stretch or that outreach go past Italy, and how do you just give good information to people that want to learn. And to me, again, that's more of what the title that I want to be recognized for than just saying, "Hey, Maestro, whatever." I have a shirt that one day is going to fit me that John Arena gave me that said "Sono un pizzaiolo e basta," which means that I'm a pizza maker and that's it. And that's it. That's really it is. It's amazing. And John can talk more about that. But yes, Maestro was bestowed upon me at a time when there was
It actually means something. It signifies a level of achievement, and
yes.
probably maybe has more meaning even in Italy than it does here in America, where most people don't know what the hell we're talking about when we say things
Right.
like that. But it's comparable to kind of like saying chef or
Yeah, like almost like your doctorate, if you will. You
it's an
studied and you did a lot of work to achieve a certain level, right? And I think that again, I would prefer to say it like, yeah, if someone could say that they've studied so long that they could be, certified as a master, or
yeah.
in our case, in a university, you would say, no, I got my master's degree, I got my doctorates. That's really a testament of somebody's commitment to learning a certain skill set to
Yeah.
the nth degree that there's nowhere left to go. And to me, that nowhere left to go, just like when Gemignani did it, it was that title of Maestro Istruttore, the master instructor.
Ah, there you go.
Because back in the day, it was more about we didn't come from a place, John can talk about this as well. We didn't come from a place that people were willing to share all this info. It wasn't Instagram, it wasn't Google, right? So we had to go out there and grassroots, learn it on the streets, and then continue to practice and practice and practice until you felt yourself that you made something that was great that you'd be willing to feed to other people. So that instructor title to me was always worth more than just saying I'm a master pizza maker.
And of course, John, who you've taught at universities yourself, John, but your real university is the College of Life. You learned it by doing it. Did you also go through like formal programs like this, or was it all kind of on, in the real world doing it?
Peter, when I was coming up, these programs didn't exist.
Mhm.
And I think it's great that they're available now, and they lend some credibility to our profession and our craft and our culture and our traditions. In Leo's case, yes, he is a certified master, but more important than that, other people think he's a master. I think the true masters don't refer to themselves as masters because they know, as Leo certainly knows, that there's always more to learn. And mastery in the modern era kind of implies to people that, well, I've mastered it. I don't have anywhere else to go. When the real masters don't call themselves masters because they know they're only, no matter how long they've been practicing, they're just scratching the surface and haven't approached where they would aspire to be. So,
Yeah,
Matt,
exactly.
we see a lot of 25-year-old so-called maestros now, and at that age, you haven't even learned to tie your shoes yet properly.
John,
Self-bestowed maestros as opposed
I,
to.
really quick, I have a funny story. Exactly what you said, John. Antonio Pace, who's the president of the Associazione Verace Pizza Napolitana, for about 12 years said, I kept asking him, when are you going to make me a master? When can you certify me? And he left and he literally said in Neapolitan dialect, you're still too young. How can you be a master? You're still not old enough to be a master. It literally, and again, this is why to me I have so much respect for what they've done in Italy and for us trying to bring those traditions here. John, you nailed it, man.
Yeah, well, speaking of Naples, you're going to be going to Naples yourself, John, in a couple of days, and tell us about this event that you're going to, and who is getting honored, at this.
Well, 50 Top is an organization based in Naples that basically evaluates pizzerias all around the world. They divide it into different sections. So there's a North American sector, there's a South American sector, there's an Asian sector, European sector, and they pick in each of those sectors 50 pizzerias that they feel are the best through an ongoing series of secret evaluation. And then
Kind of
they
like a Michelin, they're like the Michelin guide of pizzas.
yes,
Oh,
and then the top 10 of each sector get to go to Naples for the 50 top in the world. So
so wow. So
Truly Pizza was number 9 in the United States. So
Amazing,
we're
man.
getting to go.
truly, that's when, yeah, your pizzeria down in where are you? Is it Lagoon? It's Dana Point, right?
It's in Dana Point, but we
I
are
always think
actually
of that as
building in
like near
Laguna as
Laguna
well.
Beach, right?
Yeah, we're opening another location in Laguna
Oh,
in a couple
really?
of months.
Fantastic.
Construction right now.
Wow, you're going to own that territory down there. But now, Truly Pizza is um, is relatively new in terms of the pizzerias that that have grown out of your tree. But it's about 3 years, 4 years
It's
going
a
now.
little over 2 years.
Two
It's
years.
been tremendously successful. This summer, all summer long, we had a 3-month waiting list for reservations.
Who are your partners and who and then I'm just asking you because we've had them on the show, but for those who are joining us for the first time, who are your partners there and who are making it happen on a daily basis?
Well, Chris Decker, of course, who I couldn't do anything without. Chris is like my son. We've been
He,
together now for 30 years.
30 years. Yeah, when I first
Um,
met Chris and you together, you only had the Metro thing going and he was your right-hand man there. And so it's so cool to see him now kind of getting credit.
yeah,
Will he be going to Naples with you?
yes, he will. And then Michael Vackney, who I think is
We've had him on the show as
our
well.
other,
Yeah.
our other collaborator, very knowledgeable, great guy, Las Vegas based as well.
Because he's got
And
a
then
place of his own in Vegas, right? It's
not
a
anymore. He's
Neapolitan.
100% working at Truly.
Truly, wow. All right. Well, why not? Truly's
Yeah,
it's happening, and
yeah,
and it sounds like it's not only happening, but it's growing.
yeah, and then my other partner, my investor, um, basically our patron is Donna Baldwin, who Donna worked for me when she was in junior high. She was a junior in high school.
Wow.
We stayed friends. I don't collect guitars; I collect friends. And
Leah doesn't have any friends. He just has guitars.
I might agree with that.
well, my hobby is a lot cheaper.
For those who are
You know,
listening on the audio version of this podcast, we're doing a video version. We're seeing Leo sitting in his pizza garage,
Oh,
surrounded
this is my office.
his office, surrounded by a whole bunch
Vintage guitars.
of guitars, of which I'm sure each one has a story of its own. We're gonna do a whole separate episode with you on that, Leo. But yeah, uh, and John, you well, you don't have your friends hanging from the rafters in your office, but you've
No,
got friends,
fortunately
that's
I
for sure.
don't. But
But you have a lot of friends out there.
so Donna approached me a few years ago after she had retired, and said, "Hey, let's build a really great pizzeria on the beach in Southern California." And she did just
What a
that.
great idea, right?
She's been an unwavering supporter. It's like she's like the unicorn investor. She basically said, "What do you need to make this great?" And we got a beautiful building, top of the line equipment, all the all the media support we need, just everything. And she never and Leo will attest to how rare this is to have an investor that never says, "Where's my return?"
Nice,
He just
yeah.
said, "Make it great."
Well, that is a testament to, your relationship with her, which goes back so far, so long ago. That's more
Yeah.
than just an investor. She's a friend, a deep friend. So, well, that's awesome. So you're one of the 10 American places that are getting recognized at this event.
Right. Naturally, Anthony Mangieri,
Una Pizza
Tony
Napolitana.
Gemignani, um, Pizzeria Say in Los Angeles. Those were the top
That's
three.
one that people in LA know about. Not everybody does unless they saw I think there was something on Netflix or something about it. But Pizzeria Say is doing kind of what we'd say a Japanese influenced Neapolitan style out of there.
Yeah, that's fairly accurate. I I everybody knows I'm kind of reluctant to put a label on any pizza. I think
Yeah.
the best pizzas, the pizzas that we love, are the pizzas that represent the person that made them.
Have either of you been to Pizzeria Say?
I have. Leo, have you?
Have you?
I only got a chance to hang out with well, I forget the gentleman's name. I met him at the LA Pizza Festival 2 years ago, I think it was. And it was a
William.
great dude, very knowledgeable, and I couldn't believe like what when he was describing his operation to me, like it was like it sounded like it was very small scale, and what he's putting out is such a huge product and it's being so well received. But I don't think it's made the transition yet globally like it needs to be. But the few minutes I had was incredible with him.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Jiro Dreams of Sushi situation where there's like 12 seats.
Yeah, yeah. Is it what's the owner's name?
William, I can't remember his last name.
But he'll be in
Believe he's
Naples with
Korean.
you.
He'll be in Naples.
We
Robert from Chicago. Robert's Pizza.
Robert's Pizza from Chicago. Okay, now you're starting to say some places where I've never been, and I really want. Now I'm making my list, and we want to get them on the show, all of them. So when you see
Robert
them,
Robert and his wife Dana are incredible people, first and foremost. I still go out and say that Robert's is one of the greatest pizzerias in Chicago. His story behind it, the process that he goes through with his dough, there is no such thing as this is too hard or it's ready when it's ready. Like he's an amazing guy, and the product that he puts out is amazing. Um,
Leo, you're in Chicago yourself. You're based there, so you know Robert for a long time. But I don't know much about Robert's. I've never been there. I didn't. Is it relatively new, or has he been around forever?
No, he's been around for a few years now, and he's at a really cool spot right on the boat slips downtown, kind of near Navy Pier. And
Oh,
it's cool because when you're downtown, like people make it a destination, and I can't confirm, I'm speculating, but in this summer, there's no way, and John, I don't know if you know or not, but there's no way that that guy is not doing 1,000, 1,200 pizzas a night on the weekends. Like
Yeah.
it's that kind of operation. And to be talking that he does a naturally leavened product is even more insane at that scale. And you just talked about Anthony Margeri, another one that, again, it's right when it's right, and I don't want to put a product out that's not right. And that kind of mentality is so hard to come by today because everything is about fast, quick. How can we get it in and out? Feed people, get them out the door. And this is again, it's so old school in the way that it's done that it's like you respect it when you know what's happening behind the scenes. It's like these are the people that at least I would say that I bow to. It's like this guy's doing it right, and that's the way everybody should be doing their business.
Well, I want to come back to this naturally leavened dough approach that you just mentioned, but I want to hear about the other 10 first. But I want to get back to it because I think we've been talking about this for a couple of years now on Pizza Quest, that this is a huge and important trend in the pizza community, is naturally leavened. So we're going to come back to that, but let's find out who else is going to be in Naples with you, John, from the American
Well,
side, anyway.
on the American side, well, Giulio Adriani for his slice shop, because they have a slice division now.
So the slice shop that he has in Washington, D.C., that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Industry, of course, for their
I'm sorry.
slice shop. Industry.
Oh, Industry in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, which they're in
Manhattan.
they're in the West Village now as well, and they're doing a phenomenal job.
The
That's something
Industry.
we should definitely talk about, is that the rise of the slice shop.
Yeah, that's the other big, huge category of growth. Certainly, Tony himself is like going all in on slice shops too, right? Tony
Yeah.
Gimignani. Yeah. Okay, so that sounds like about 5 or 6 that we've identified. Um, Anybody else that we might want to know about?
Taglio, Rob Savoni's place,
Is that the one in
also a
Philadelphia?
slice shop. No, it's in on Long Island.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Roman style is a Massimiliano Saiva protege.
Oh, that's just, so are they doing Roman style pizza there?
Yeah, they do New York style too, but Roman is their thing.
Wow. Okay. That's seeing that. And now, for those of you many of you who are listening are probably almost more versed in all the new places that are opening it. But for those who aren't, some of these are the new kids on the block, but making a huge splash. What about what? Well, let me ask you this: what about Metro Pizza? Does Metro Pizza ever get recognized? You guys are like at the forefront of celebrating regional styles of pizza in one location. Do you,
We're getting ready to do a slice concept as well.
You are, well, but you're also a mentor to so many people in the pizza world who have kind of looked to you. There's you're the Yodis, and so and you're
Yeah, well,
and you're so generous in giving credit to everybody else. But what about you? You guys should be on this top 10 list. Do you get that kind of recognition?
not as much anymore. And I think a lot of that has to do with familiarity.
Uh-huh.
We've been around for 45 years.
Yeah.
You don't likely, it's not, if you look at that list, there's not a lot of places that are really stood the test of time. And I think that's my superpower, is I've survived.
Yeah, that's true.
Survived and stuck to one.
You're almost like the last one standing. You're the Dom DeMarco of the old guard.
Yeah, or the missing link.
Right.
Don, how does that feel to be referred to as Dom DeMarco? How cool is that?
I'm no Dom DeMarco, unfortunately for me.
Yeah, maybe not in your mind, but in ours. And if anybody who's ever eaten it at your places in Vegas, and certainly at Metro Pizza, know that you're not going to get a better pizza anywhere than what you're going to get there. And so,
I think though, the thing that all of these places have in common is that none of them are out there chasing awards. And Leo can attest to this. We just have our heads down and we're trying to make great stuff and create a great environment and create a great experience. None of the really great people are saying, I want to win this trophy or this title, or that's not what it's about. It's about the pizza. It's about what's on the plate.
Yeah.
And what you're giving to the people who walk in the door. And the rest of it, it's nice to be recognized, but the guys that are just chasing recognition, they don't last.
It's a good point. Are there any other places of the top 10 American pizzerias that are going to be recognized there that we haven't mentioned? Or is any others that come to mind?
I can't think of any specifically. And unfortunately, not everybody ends up going to the Naples. For various reasons, they don't go to the Naples finals.
How about I know that our friend Jonathan Goldsmith, who's got fabulous pizzeria in Chicago. Chicago is loaded with great pizza. I didn't really even know
Jonathan will
about,
be there with Jonathan will be there with us.
but
Um, he's receiving a special recognition
he is
as,
okay.
as an ambassador of Neapolitan pizza in the United States, and in recognition of all of the selfless work that he's done to spread the gospel of Neapolitan pizza.
Yeah, he really would you say,
I'll,
Leo, you're there? Is he kind of the one who brought the purest version of Neapolitan pizza to Chicago?
I'll say like this. So I'm very lucky to be surrounded by so many great pizza people in Chicago, right? I can't think of a lot of cities that you can go to and say that I can have 10, 12 different styles of pizza all within the same neighborhoods, right? Jonathan Goldsmith by far is one of the godfathers, especially here in Chicago. I don't think my wife and I were just there. I was speaking last weekend at the Pizza City Festival, Steve Dolinsky's thing, and we got. I sent Jonathan a message whenever I'm down in the city. I always want to see him just to say hello, and I had a gift for him this time. And John, if you see him, you can ask him about this. We went to hang out with Jonathan, had lunch with him. He said, "Come right when we open." It was just before noon, and he sat down and ate with us. He's having some difficulties health wise, and he seems like he's on the other side of it now. God will, please. It's just
Yeah.
it's great to see him doing so good. But my wife and I sat and we had lunch with him, and again, he just the way he talks and the way he is with everybody. And my last trip to Naples, I fell in love with, believe it or not, all the graffiti of Naples. And there's some really talented street artists, right? So when you go down the places that they used to say, like, as a tourist, you probably shouldn't go down these little streets, these vicos, they call them. And to me, it's like, well, I speak the language. I look pretty grungy. I could be one of them. Like, so I never got bothered by that. But I started taking gorgeous high definition photos of these murals and graffiti art and all this. And Jonathan and I had a moment in Napoli going to the Caputo Cup. We shared a cab together, and we're going. It's right by the Maradona Stadium, right there. And we're talking, and he's like, so how was your trip? And I'm telling him about all this love for this art, which his wife has, a whole piece that she's around in the, she's in the art world. She's an amazing artist, mosaics, and all this stuff that she does. And we started talking, and I was like, John, man, I got these beautiful photos. And he's like, I would love to see these photos. And every time we try to talk about these photos, I could never get there. So what I ended up doing was I made him this beautiful photo album of all these high quality photos of all the Neapolitan street art. And I'm telling you, when he gave it to him, you can almost see he got a little choked up because it was his way to get to Naples just flipping through this book.
Yeah.
Because I didn't change any of the lighting. So if you were during the day and you go down one of these alleys, it's always shaded and dark, right? And to be able to see him in those same light, and again, in those quality of the photos, like you could see his touch. So it was really amazing to be able to go there, not only just to hang out with him, because again, he's one of those guys that, I love him like he's a father to me. And to be able to spend some time with my wife and eat some pizza, I had the most amazing, I had a pizza di tonno. So it's a tuna pizza, olive oil poached tuna, with tropea onions. And I think there was a little thyme on it. Very simple pizza. The dough was on point. Like, that's the beauty of Neapolitan pizza, and that's the beauty of what Jonathan does.
Did you say you had that pizza at Spacca Napoli at his
Yeah,
pizzeria?
just about a week ago. And to see that he's bringing in onions from Tropea, which is like in Calabria, where I'm from, right? Tropea is an area, right? A city. And to say it's some of the greatest onions, like you say, well, who's talking about the greatest onions in the world? But literally, it's like it's one of those ingredients that when you pair them properly, when you take an ingredient to the nth degree, that final level of saying, you know what, this tuna should not go in the oven. This has got to be something that goes on post bake, right? And to respect an ingredient like that, and to understand the ones that get cooked and ones that don't get cooked, and even a small addition like a little bit of fresh thyme. Say, you know what, that took that pizza over the top. And the dough was great. He's got a cave. I say it's a cave. It's like a cinder block lined room in his basement. He keeps his doughs in. He keeps his wine in. He's always bringing like incredible stuff back from Italy. And I'm telling you, pallets of things will show up, and he uses them until there's no more, and then there's like literally no more. So his menu, his thoughtfulness to his menu, his thoughtfulness to his employees. Like he's a guy who goes back. He's got employees there from day one. And when John was starting to get, was kind of questionable about his health,
Yeah.
he's talking about, I think I'm just going to sell it to my employees because they're the only ones truly that can take the torch and continue going forward. Because an investor is just going to want to make money out of this, and this was about making money. And
Right.
like you go there's no music playing. It's because he wants people to sit down and eat and then hear the ambient noise of the people eating and the kitchen and the plates banging and things like that. And it reminds you of going literally back to Italy and having the experience of eating. And that's really what we're talking about. Pizza is really an experience, and the experience of being around a table with people around a pizza. And that's what it's about. Put your phone away and enjoy the company and the things that are in front of you. That's John's mantra. And it's funny, John Goldsmith and John Arena, and they're very close friends. And I'll tell you that if nobody knows. And it is a reason why. And it's
Well,
that.
John, you're going to actually be with Jonathan in a couple of days in Naples. You're going to be hanging with him, and is he going to be sort of your tour guide or what?
We have every minute planned to the second for the whole trip.
Fantastic.
From practically from the minute we land until the minute we take off. And we're going to go see Franco Pepe, of course, probably Enzo Cocha, another bunch of places that Jonathan has researched that we want to go check out. And Leo nailed it about Jonathan. I mean, it's magical to see Jonathan in his environment. You see him at Expo, that's one thing, but to see Jonathan, to wake up with Jonathan and walk from his house to the pizzeria at 6 o'clock in the morning because he personally wants to clean the espresso machine. And then he wants to sit outside in front of his place and greet his neighbors and the people that are walking by. That connection, it is truly like being in Italy. I mean, it's not a recreation.
But it's an amazing story, though. Yeah.
He lifted a piece of Naples and brought it to that street.
He lives it, and that's an amazing story because he's just an American Jewish kid who ends up finding his mission and purpose in life during the time that he spent working in Italy and in the Naples area. It wasn't like he didn't go over there to become a pizza maker, but while he was there, it kind of found him.
I think he was there from what I understand. I think he was there because his wife was working there,
and I think he was doing some social work and stuff like that as well. He had a job, but it was kind of like a feeling, that feeling that some people have where they discover who they are and what their purpose in life is, not where they grew up, but by happenstance, by being someplace at the right time and going, this is where I belong. This is me. And to inhale it in such a way and then bring it back here and share that experience. He's embodied I would have to say the Naples persona.
Yeah, you have a conversation with Jonathan, you realize he's like this obsessive compulsive evangelist. He's the guy that finds these beautiful onions in Tropea and he's got to bring them back, not because he wants to make a buck on them, but because he loves them so much that he wants to share them with other people.
Yeah.
And the authenticity. I think it always goes back to that. Anything that he can get that can connect it back to Italy, that's what he wants to offer his customers. And it's like, it doesn't matter how much that onion cost him or if it makes sense food cost wise.
I don't even think he calculates food costs.
I don't think so either, to be honest with you. And to say that, again, you're eating downtown in Chicago where that prices would skyrocket. We're the home of, $22, $24 margarita pizzas, right?
Yeah.
Which in Naples is another thing, like, €5 and you're done. Like people won't pay any more than that. And, again, this is where these stories will go back to. So, I think that he's doing amazing work over there, and John will never change. He's gonna continue, and someone's gonna take that legacy over and go farther with it.
Yeah,
right.
He is.
At this time, especially, we have to realize to the pizza community, what a national treasure he is.
And that's a good point because in making sort of let's leap over to this other part of our conversation today, which is some of the new trends or new things that are happening, whether it's slice shops or naturally leavened doughs or this or that. There's always something interesting and new happening in the pizza world, but there are not that many people who we can point to as saying these are, well, I've been calling them the Yodas, but the godfathers of something, of representing something. They're the highest pinnacle. Who are some of the other people that you've come across that kind of embody that degree of commitment and passion to what they do, and how important is that? Are we is there a new generation who will be 20 and 30 years from now the Jonathan Goldsmiths of their era?
For me,
That,
I have the luxury of being around so many students at Pizza University,
yeah, that's right. Because you
and
you have almost every couple of weeks a new group of students coming through who
uh,
are the next generation, so to speak.
and the thing that since I took the position a couple years ago as director of education, to me it was more about the quality of instructor and the curriculum that was going to be taught, right? And all of a sudden you start saying, well, it's a difficult proposal because there's not a lot of money in a pizza school, right? There's not a lot of money to be made at a pizza school. So it's got to be about supporting an industry. And that's really what, the Mara brothers had really done, is that they wanted something that continued to support that. When we started building our classes and putting all these instructors out there, right? And we're talking about people who are relevant today in the pizza industry as experts in their particular styles of pizza. And I don't care if it's Siler Chapman coming in to do a mobile pizza class, or, we do tons of stuff with Orlando Foods and Women in Pizza. And, we just had, Nicole Bean and Christy from Real Clever Food. They came and did an amazing 3-day class. Like, the instructors that are coming in and the students that are showing up to take these classes, I think that, again, it goes back to that, the information that they're looking for, right? Sometimes the way that we grew up, like I say, John and I growing up in the restaurants, the way that we were looking for this information is totally different than the way that the new generation is looking for it. And what they're looking to get out of it is very different too, because I think that there's a lot of people that see pizza as a platform for innovation, right? And sometimes, we've talked about this so many times over and over again at events and trade shows and things, where it's like innovation with a purpose, not just to innovate.
Yeah.
And I think that to see where this is going now, this is where I think that new generation is going to do something special. Hopefully they can stick to one thing, because I think that sometimes they want to do everything, right? And their hands are in so many different pots that they never really specialize in one thing great, right?
Uh, uh,
But the ones that are really taking it, getting very granular, saying, I just picked a pizza style. This is the pizza that I was meant to make. And this is the pizza that I've always wanted to make. And I'm going to do what I have to do to make the best pizza that I can. I think those are the ones that are going to have longevity. The ones that are doing it to learn something and then get some fame going on social media and showing a cross section of a pizza, I think that's very short lived, right?
mhm, mhm.
But we have so many of those creators coming through too, saying that they never have the ambition to open a pizzeria. And it's really just about saying, I've got a backyard oven that, I'd like to make, a few pizzas and make a couple pizzas really well. So it's each his own. But the way that we set it up, it's that you can have a professional and a complete amateur sitting side by side, and the information that's given is so easy to swallow that both of those groups are getting exactly what they need by the end of the class. And I really, when I'm there, I'm at all the classes, but it's not that I go in front of the class. It's about supporting those instructors. And I go on more as an assistant, and helping them shag an ingredient or a pan, whatever it might be, or help them watch an oven. But, when our classes sell out, 15, 18 students in a class, and you've got two instructors, sometimes three, depending on what the class is,
Yeah.
it really does become an amazing experience for those people sitting in those seats for 3 days.
Yeah.
That's to me where it went from. But John has been there so many times, and you've been there so many times, and it really has evolved from where it began to where it is today.
Well, I think it'll be really interesting
Tremendous
if
evolution.
yeah, exactly. And if we live long enough to see the next generations and things like that. I think it's going to be interesting to see which of the ones that kind of came through Pizza University as newbies who they get it. They catch the fire of it and then commit themselves to the same degree. I mean, remember, Jonathan Goldsmith wasn't a pizza maker growing up, didn't work in pizzeria. He found his life in it later in life. And he wasn't, I think he was 50 years old before he really found his path. Uh, Other people find it, they happen to be lucky enough to find it when they're younger and they have a chance to really grow it. But it's just more of an exercise, a thought exercise to wonder which are the ones that come through. If you could put like a little dot on certain ones that come through, you go, this is the person 20 years from now. I want to see where they're at because I think they're going to take it deep.
I just had a young lady in class. She actually won the Stanislaw Cordo scholarship for 25. Her name is Daniela Mendez.
Oh,
She's out in Brooklyn right now. She was with Pauly G for a while. She's done a lot of great stuff. She's huge into pizza, insane about pasta, making fresh pastas. And I'm going to let it out of the bag. I totally poached her. I'm transplanting her from Brooklyn to Austin, Texas, because I got my own place opening in 2 months.
oh my gosh.
And I'm bringing her in to be my dough person and handle all my fresh pasta and bread program. And it's one of those people that you could see a rising star and the twinkle in their eye that they've got more passion than sometimes experience. And to me, that goes a long way because I can train somebody to be excellent and great as a mentor to them than saying somebody who comes in saying that they've done a lot, they know a lot, and then all of a sudden it seems like they plateau.
Yeah.
Danielle is really amazing, and she's out there. If you could search her, she's doing really amazing. There's a lot of new up and comers that I'm seeing. I was just out in Detroit. I was at a place called She Wolf, not Mother Wolf. That's Evan Funky's place. Place called She Wolf. There's a kid named Noah over there who started out as a pasta maker that started making amazing pizzas in the background for family meals. And then they got a couple Gosney ovens, were setting them up in the alley because he didn't have enough heat inside the ovens that they had, on the kitchen line because it's a pizza joint. And then all of a sudden he's making family meal with these Gosneys and people are coming around the building into the alley to say, hey, can I buy one of those pizzas? And again, I think this is the point that it's really going back to the craft, right? That, Gemignani talks about all the time, the craft. It really goes back to that artisanship, that saying, how do we select not just flour, the right flour for the purpose that needs to happen, right? Mixing grains is something that was very attractive to me years ago that finally is something that we're starting to see. It's coming around. Artisan grains, things from small millers. People get freaked out. Wow, my place in Texas, I've got a place called Barton Springs Mill, right? Very famous miller named James Brown.
Right.
I was introduced to by Chris Bianco, of all people. And I went to visit James for the first time in a town called Dripping Springs. And this is the, Deep Eddy, Tito's Vodka. That's what they're known for, not grain. And all of a sudden you see this stuff, he's got old German mills that he's grinding grain to a 00, mind you, right? But done at under 95 degrees Fahrenheit, so that all the enzymes and natural yeast, the things that are attached to the grain when they stone grind, are in there. And I tell people, I'm buying this flour. It's $110 a bag. And people are like, $110 a bag? And I'm like, yeah, but if you see what's in it, it's not going to break my food cost because, I'm still using my main flour is Caputo Nuvola Super that I'm using for my dough. It's a multi-day process, but I'm adding about 6-7% of this stone ground flour that we're gonna add in. It's right down the block from me. It's got an amazing story as far as tying back in Austin, Texas. But I think that again, this is another piece. Lindustry is, again, using, not just that we call them likely, so the, sourdough. Lievito Madre, these types of things. Giulio Andriani, he's gotten into these combinations of pre-ferments and ways that we can make these gorgeous, flavorful, light and airy, crispy doughs that eat very digestible. Back in the day, what is digestible? Like, yeah, you don't feel like you ate a brick when you ate a pizza, right? And I think that this is where I see a lot of these trends going. Things where people are adding a lot of water, high hydration doughs. To me, I'm one of those people that I kind of maybe talk sometimes against it because it's great to put a lot of water into a dough. But if you don't get that water out, you're creating a mess, right? So don't tell me that you're making Neapolitan pizza in, 75 to 90 seconds and the hydration of your dough is 68%. And I'm going to tell you that that pizza is probably suffering and you need to back it down. And then I love when I get the comment that, oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, you're probably right. I probably don't. But I will say like this: it's great to say that we're putting all these water in these doughs, and again that there's a great outcome because of it. But again, the understanding of lining up your formula of your pizza with the equipment that you have to produce your product. And that's a thing. I do a lot of consulting. That's probably my number one thing that I tell everybody as soon as I walk in operation. We got to make some changes because you might have a good pizza and people might be coming here for your pizza, but we can go from good to great if you just do these couple little things.
That's pretty cool. Well, and of
We
course,
see that over and over again. We see people when a certain thing becomes in vogue, whether it's hydration or a particular type of equipment, but they're not really suitable to the result that the person is aiming for. As consultants, I'm sure Leo and I see that over and over again.
yeah. And of
Get a
course,
guy that
they all hear
told
about these things, but they don't understand them yet. They need somebody to guide them through,
and they're not
proper
thinking about the
application.
application and the
Yeah.
final result.
Yeah.
To me, they work backwards. They start with whatever is whatever the latest trend is, and then they try to use those trends to make the pizza that they want. Start with the pizza that you want, and then make the other choices based on that.
Well, and sometimes they can get there though. If they start, let's say in reverse order, they hear about some equipment or some technique or this and they want to use it, but then they bring in somebody as a mentor to guide them through it. You can take them full circle and take them back to, okay, now what's the product that you want to make? Um, I mean, in other words, what I'm trying to say is I think they can get there even if they start from the wrong premise. They can still get there if they get guidance, and that's where I think where you guys come into play, because as the mentoring generation for the next generation, you get a chance to see them early on. I remember, way back, Tony Gimignani had this great thing going in San Francisco when he opened, Tony's Pizza Napolitana. He also opened a school, and there he was able to get people into his school, train them, hire some of them to work there, and they all started as novices, so to speak. Some of them have become famous in their own right. Laura Meyer was an employee, and so that's the cool thing is over time, and through pizza expos and the pizza community, and through what you're doing with the university, you can see people in the early stages, coming in raw, and then those few, that small percentage who have the fire to go all the way, they can become the next generation of. They're going to be the mentors. Laura's already now been around long enough that she's already mentoring others herself. So I just think it's pretty exciting.
You touched on something really important, Peter, because
Yeah,
we talked about who the legendary pizza makers are, who the great pizza makers are, and to me, I think the people that are truly great are the ones that have created somebody else that's great.
yeah,
The greatness of Tony Gimignani doesn't lie in just his own accomplishments and all, which are, of course, extraordinary. The greatness of Tony Gimignani lies in people like Laura.
yeah. I call it the Tony Gimignani tree of
Exactly.
it's like the coaching tree of Bill Belichick or whatever.
I was a product of Tony.
You asked me earlier about awards for Metro Pizza.
Yeah.
My award for Metro Pizza is Chris Decker.
Chris Decker, right? And who's now
That's the award.
Yeah.
Producing somebody or helping somebody to develop their skills.
Yeah.
So that they can give something back to pizza. We talk about serving pizza, and that's two different things. There's serving pizza, what's on the plate, and there's serving pizza, the craft and our colleagues, and mentoring other people to make pizza better, to make it a better career, to make the craft be recognized as an honored profession. That's how you serve pizza.
Yeah.
And Leo is doing that The difference, in Pizza University, the idea of Pizza University is a great idea, but it didn't really come to full fruition until Leo joined in. And there's somebody that was there pre-Leo and now in what I would call the Leo era, there's a massive difference. He's done a magnificent job. And when he talks about he's there just to be a gopher for most of the classes, he's being humble.
No, I appreciate that, John. But again, you've seen it on both sides of it, and now again, I think that it's finally in the direction that it needs to be, and it's growing. And I mean, just the students that show up. But
yeah, and you're giving all of the instructors an opportunity to really concentrate on what they're actually there for.
That's right.
Bring out the best in the students.
And you touched on something about Leo, which is that, aside from being a great cook and pizza maker and, master pizza maker and everything else, he's an educator at heart. I think that your real mission is you're an educator, and an educator's all educators know that it's all about their work product is really the students that come after them, not the pizzas themselves. And you've got a book coming out, don't you, Leah? Or what can you give us any sneak preview or heads up?
No, I guess
you're out with your book.
I guess at this point the cat's out of the bag. I think that enough people have figured out that I went off the grid for a couple of years. That it seemed like I was doing a lot of Pizza University stuff, but I was constantly on the road. I do have a book I'm out. It's with one of the larger publishers in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Great. I joke that I always feel like, not that I'm competitive with Gemignani, but to me, when he wrote the Pizza Bible, he set the mark of what a pizza book should be like and how it's received and used. And when I put together my manuscript, or at least the table of contents, before we started even shopping the thing around, I looked at the Pizza Bible and saying, like, look, Tony said he'll probably never do another book. And I didn't understand that until I started writing a book. Why? Because it's a horrible process.
It's hard work.
It sucks, right?
Yeah.
But I will say like this, the gratifying part of it was saying that, well, if Tony never put another word on paper and talked about pizza, where do we need to say that the Pizza Bible left off, right? And how do we take this forward into the next step? And I mean, even to myself, like using the example of, hey, man, Gemignani's Pizza Bible is 311 pages or 310 pages, whatever it was. How many pages is my book going to be before we even started, right? Because I wanted to make sure that I could have that depth to say, like, you can't give me a paperback and expect me to do where we left off with this much information. I was given the task saying, hey, we need you to put 50,000 words down. And I ended up with 70,000. And then all of a sudden they're talking about cutting. And it was like everybody was in agreement. Like, where do we cut? There's so much information here. Photography, I just got back from Des Moines, Iowa. And everyone's like, why is Des Moines, Iowa? And it's like, well, you find out the biggest publishers in the Midwest. And Meredith is there, who's, Southern Living and Better Homes and Gardens. And I was actually there at that studio. And to see the photography over 10 days that came out, I mean, it's just going to be a gorgeous book. We hit pre-ferments. I did vegan, Polish. I got Roman contemporary, Roman traditional, Detroit's. I mean, every style, 8 styles of pizza, 100 recipes. I even gave my meatball recipe away. Like,
oh my God,
very, very close. But it's amazing. If everything goes well, we're shooting. If everything goes well, we'll have books pre-sale for Pizza Expo 26 in March. Official launch is supposed to be sometime in May. William Sonoma's got it in there. Italy's set up for a road trip. Like, there's so many people that rally around this thing that I really just think it's going to be an amazing thing. And if anybody saw the World Pizza Champions book, I actually started mine during us shooting and preparing for the World Pizza Champions book, which is incredible. Yeah. And, again, everything that we did with that, again, how do we go and make the next great book? And that's really what I feel that I did.
Does your book have a title?
It does. It's called Pizza Love. And
Pizza Love.
It was a crazy one because we went back and forth. I wanted 20 other names but Pizza Love, but that's the one that kept coming back. So it really is a love for pizza, and it tells a lot of my stories and where I've been, and recipes that are in there go to specific times in my life and places, and It's really a cool thing, and talks a lot about like these master pizza makers. Like, we talked one of my pizzas that's in there is a tribute to Antonio Starita, and he was the first time I saw a pizza marinara that I said, well, this isn't the right way, and I asked Antonio Starita like about this pizza, and he says, well, why isn't it the right way? This is the way that I make the marinara pizza, and now that pizza is all over Napoli, right? You say, well, pizza marinara is not supposed to have fresh basil and pecorino on it, right? And he's like, well, why not? This is the way I make it. And people line up around the block for it, so it must be doing all right. So there's a lot of those types of stories, or saying when UNESCO kind of first certified the pizzaiolo, right? I was actually in Italy, and I've got the clipping, I've got the newspaper in my hand. When you see Sergio Micu, he's in Australia with all these guys, or where? No, they weren't in Australia. They were somewhere. They were in like Singapore or something. And they're all there with a group of 50 people, and to see that pride, right? That the pizza made front page news in northern Italy, right?
Wow.
Like, and there's all these people talking about Neapolitans. So, like, there's a lot of that inside the book, and it's really special times. There's lots of things about Gemignani and John, and lots of people that I consider my mentors, and
Yeah.
it really is a great thing.
So Pizza Love, it'll be officially out in May-ish or so. If you go to Pizza Expo, you might be able to get an early copy or at least see it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be on Amazon with photos and stuff. So Pizza Love by Leo Spizzirri. Big project. It'll be a legacy piece of your.
Yeah, it's definitely a
your
legacy
career.
piece, and I'm so happy that it's done. So
Yeah.
I'm
it's
excited
good.
about this. Man. I'm
Yeah.
so excited to hear about this. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
even
gonna,
the
I'm
Bible
gonna,
needed a sequel.
I know
right?
how long you were
yeah.
dreaming about doing this project. I think
Peter did the forward
I
for the
think I was
book.
going to say I think you have this really great forward in this book that people should look for as well. But
Yeah.
so of course I've been watching it come, and I'm glad that the day's almost here. So
John, and I'm gonna hand deliver your copy because I want to be there and I want to bring it out because I'm gonna be crying like a little baby.
bring it out here, or I'll come and get it from you. But John, we're gonna get you back on sometimes after you come back from Naples. We'll get you back to tell us some of the adventures that you had on this tour. I know that Jonathan Goldsmith's going to give you a personal guided tour of the area, take you to his favorite places. Probably down those special alleys that Leo's talking about. Leo will get you back when the book comes out and talk more about that. Get you back on together. We'll, as we say, it's more about the quest than it is about the pizza, and the quest never ends. And I think today's episode is a real good testament to that, the fact that two of the greatest are on this never-ending quest and still discovering more and more new things. So thank you for all of that.
Thank you, guys. So nice to see you all.
And
I want your next book to be an illustrated book of the graffiti of Naples.
yeah,
I'm telling you, when you see it, John, maybe again, I got to put a book together for you. I'll ship it to you. But when you see what I'm talking about, it definitely could be a coffee table book. It's
well,
gorgeous.
that would be a great way to do another book because it's more visual, and then you can just tell stories, and you don't because you're already going to spill all your.
We might have just lost the copyright on it.
I mean, look, if
you might have to edit that out.
Now that you've given out the recipe for your meatballs, you got nothing left to say really in terms of
Right.
recipes. So, and that's a whole other trend I want to talk about. We'll talk about it on the next time that we have you guys on. Is it seems to me that meatballs are having a big renaissance. I mean, they've never gone away, but now it seems like everybody is doing meatballs. Everybody's bragging about their meatballs. I just went to a restaurant recently that opened, and again, the big thing, you've got to have the meatballs. We've got to talk about sort of this role of meatballs and what it signifies and symbolizes in our hearts and souls. So, guys, John, have safe travels to Naples. Leo, congratulations on all that you're doing, and at Pizza University, people can track you down. Look up Pizza University. Is it pizzauniversity.com?
pizzauniversity.org. We got
.org.
classes. I got a insane Biga class coming up. There might be a few seats left with it's gonna be me and Mimo from Orlando Foods doing this 3-day. Last year it sold out, the year before it sold out, and I would imagine this one is. We've got Laura Myers coming back with Leo Skirtle. They're going to be in November doing Women with Pizza for 4 different signature styles over 3 days. And then in December, we've got John Arena coming back with Julio and Scott Wiener. And that's another one that always sells out. It's an incredible class. And just to see Scott Wiener and Julio banter back and forth for 3 days is worth the admission.
They usually are busting each other's chops, right? Most of the time, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
We'll
I
see
get to
if
come.
Scott
I get to
survives
come out
another
to.
one.
I get to come out to the school again in May, right? We're gonna do
I think we may have just published it. I'm not sure if it's up yet, but we are going to be doing a Peter Reinhardt sourdough class coming up, and we're going to do amazing pizzas with that. I'm really thankful that you agreed to come back again, and I know
I'm coming out of mothballs for that one.
yeah, I know you're semi-retired and you're talking about, hanging it up, but I'm so fortunate and blessed that you agreed to do this. And anytime I get to spend some time next to you teaching.
Well, every time I think about retiring, I just think about John Arena, and your dad. Is your dad still with us and he's still working?
Yes, of course.
So your dad is what, in his 90s, and
96.
So the notion of retirement just seems like, no, it's not going to happen. We don't retire.
Sorry, there. Why not?
You don't retire, because if you retire, then you might as well just go away forever. But so you guys are inspirations to me as well. We'll get you back on. We'll convene the Yodis every few months. We like to bring the Yodis back, and maybe we'll get Brian Spangler to join us, and we'll get all three of you on at another time. And always, the quest never ends. So thank you for being a part of it. Thank all of you for joining us today, and we'll see you on the next episode of Pizza Quest. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Heritage Radio Network, food radio supported by you. Keep in touch at heritageradionetwork.org/subscribe.